Welcome back to this channel. In previous video, we had completed part 1 of this chapter, that is components of food. In first video, we had covered components of food, that are carbohydrate, fats, protein and vitamins. We had also done the experiment to check the presence of starch, fats and protein in the given food items. Now, in today's session, we will cover rest of the topic of this chapter, that are minerals, fibers means dietary, water, balanced diet and about deficiency diseases. Okay, so let's start with minerals. Our body needs minerals for its proper functioning, normal growth and good health. Minerals are needed to build bones and teeth, for the formation of blood, coagulation of blood, and the functioning of muscles, nerves, and thyroid glands. Okay, so minerals are needed by our body in small amounts. Some of the important minerals that our body needed are calcium, phosphorus, iron, sodium, and potassium. See, these are the minerals that are needed by our body in very small quantity: calcium, phosphorus, iron, iodine and sodium, potassium also. So these minerals are used by our body in the form of their salt, not as element. So if we talk that minerals as a component of food, means we actually means that mineral salt. We will now give the function of some of the minerals in our body. We will also give the names of the food in which these minerals are found in good amounts. Okay, so proceeding to first mineral, that are calcium and phosphorus. See, in figure that are shown the food items that contain calcium and phosphorus. Now, what is the use of calcium? Calcium is needed for making bones and teeth. It also helps in the proper functioning of heart and other muscles, as well as in the clotting of blood. So children need more calcium than adults in comparison to their body weight, because they grow fast and their bones and teeth are made largely from calcium salt. So the food items that are the good sources of calcium are milk, cheese, eggs, green leafy vegetables and fish. Wheat and rice also contain calcium, but that are also in very little amount. Now, like calcium, phosphorus is needed for the formation of bones and teeth, and their sources are milk, pearl millets. Pearl millets means bajra, banana, pulses and green leafy vegetables. And milk is one food item which contain both calcium and phosphorus minerals in good amounts. So we should drink milk daily to get strong bones and teeth. Okay, I hope is it clear about calcium and phosphorus. Now next is about iodine. Next is about iron. Iron is needed to make hemoglobin present in our RBC. RBCs means in red blood cells. And what is the function of these red blood cells? They carry oxygen from the lungs to the body parts. Thus, iron is an important constituent of hemoglobin in the blood. And one more thing, that iron is used by our body in the form of iron salt, not as iron element. So chief sources of iron in our food are spinach, that are palak or saag, other green leafy vegetables, apples, egg, liver, cereals like bajra, and pulses and groundnuts. They all contain iron. Now moving towards iodine. As you already know that we have to take iodine in our food. There are a thyroid gland situated in the neck of our body, and it controls the growth of our body. Iodine is essential for the proper functioning of thyroid gland, which control the growth of the body. Okay, so iron helps thyroid gland to make hormone which is responsible for our growth. Sources of iron, it mainly found in iodized salt, fish and seafoods. In some fruits and vegetables also we can find iodized. Same thing, iron is formed in the form of salt, okay, not as element. So it is called iodized salt. The common salt that we are using, they are iodized salt. Iodine is also present in drinking water at most of the places except in hilly areas. Okay, so these are about the minerals that we have to conclude in our diet. Calcium, phosphorus. Calcium, phosphorus we need for the proper formation of bones and teeth. Iodine for the formation or the proper functioning of thyroid gland. And iron, it is used or it is needed to make hemoglobin that is present in red blood cells. Okay. Now next is about water. Water is essential for life, but it has no food value in our body. A person can live without food for several weeks, but would die in few days without water. So water provides a liquid in which other substance can dissolve and move within the body or eliminated from the body. So these are the function of water. It is used to transport digested food to the body cells, to transport important chemicals such as hormones around the body, to get rid of waste product from the body, and to control and regulate the body temperature. Now water dissolves the digested food which then passes into blood. Now as you already know that blood is mostly water, and water present in blood transport means it carries the digested food to each and every cell in all the parts of the body. Okay, it dissolves the waste product of the body so that they can remove through urine or sweat. One more function is given there, that water control and regulates body temperature. What does it means? It controls the body temperature by the process of sweating and evaporation. And the question is how this happens? So when the outside temperature is high, the water oozes out through the skin in the form of sweat. When these sweat evaporate from our body, it takes heat required for evaporation from our skin. So by losing heat, our skin cools down a little bit and we feel cool and comfortable. Okay, so it controls and regulates the body temperature by the process of sweating and evaporation. Now you also heard that we should or our body needs about 2 to 3 liters of water every day. We get most of the water that our body needs by drinking water, milk, tea, coffee, juice, etc. Many food materials also contain water, like fresh fruits and vegetables. They provide us a lot of water, like tomato, melon, cabbage, lettuce. They contain a lot of water. Now, before we go further and discuss roughage, means fibers, we should know the meaning of some terms like whole meal, flour products, feces, and constipation. Flour, all of you know that the entire wheat grains means whole wheat grains which form a bran, means their bran is not removed. They are called whole meal flour. Products like chapati or bread, you can find whole meal chapati, whole meal bread. One more word is there, constipation. The waste matter remaining in our body after the food has been digested. So they are called feces. We discharge feces when we go to the toilet. Now sometimes the feces become hard and difficult to discharge. The difficulty in discharging that hardened feces from the body, it is called constipation. Okay, and Hindi it is called as cubs. So keep these points in mind. Now we will discuss roughage or fiber. Okay, fibers are also called as roughage or dietary roughage. So fibers is the fibrous matter in food which cannot be digested. Okay. So roughage is mainly made up of indigestible carbohydrate called cellulose, which is present in plant cell all. Okay. And roughage is also called as dietary fibers. Fibers means which can be eaten. Now, like water, fiber does not provide us any nutrient. Through it is no food value, but its presence is essential in our food. Why? Because we need fiber for the normal working of our digestive system. Now, how this work? Fiber provide bulk to the food, keeps the food and waste matter, that is feces, moving along to the intestine and helps to prevent the constipation. Okay, as we earlier discussed that what is constipation? Difficulties to remove that solid hardened waste from the body. So we generally get fiber or roughage by the plant products, that includes fruits and vegetables, whole meal flour like chapati and bread. Okay, seeds and beans also contain fibers, and its function to keep the intestine working, and main function to help the regulate digestion. Okay, so is it clear about water and fiber? Now moving towards the next topic that we have to discuss is balanced diet. First, before discussing this, first we will see what is diet. The food which we eat during the whole day is called our diet, and it consists many food made from cereals, pulses, fruits, vegetables, meat, fish, egg, milk, etc. So they supply all the nutrients to the body. So the diet in which contain the proper amount of all nutrients. All nutrients means carbohydrate, fats, protein, vitamins and minerals that are sufficient for the normal growth and development of the body. This is called balanced diet. And balanced diet also contain a sufficient amount of water and roughage also. So this is the diagram that shows the amount of carbohydrate, fats, protein and water also. Okay, this it is given here the pictures that contain food and vegetables having the water. So why we need a balanced diet? Because no single food item can provide us all the essential nutrients. So in order to make a balanced diet, we should include a number of different food items in our daily meals. Okay. And one more thing, that balanced diet is not same for all the age group and occupation. Means it is not necessary that the balanced diet that is given for a 5-year-old child is same as for the adult of 25-year-old. Okay. So balanced diet depends on the age of the person, and it's also depend on the occupation. Now I will explain how. A child and a grown-up man are of different age. So the balanced diet of child is different from the grown-up man. Why? Because the growing child needs more protein in his diet than a grown-up man as comparison to their body weight. So this extra protein is needed to make the body tissues for the fast growing. Okay. So the diet of a growing child should contain more protein rich food than the diet of the grown up man. Now see, similarly, that growing child also need more minerals like calcium and phosphorus for the formation of bones than the grown up man. Now this is about the age. Now on the basis of occupation, different job involve different amount of work. For example, a balanced diet of a man doing a hard physical work is different from the man doing the normal work. Like a man doing physical hard work means laborer or carpenter. They needs more carbohydrate in their diet than the another man that doing the normal work. Why? Because he needs more energy for doing hard physical work, and this extra energy including more of the carbohydrate rich food in his diet. Okay, and many of the people that we had discussed that fat contain or fat provide more carbohydrate than more energy than carbohydrate, but it doesn't mean that you have to take more fats in your diet. Most or many of the people like to eat a lot of fat rich food like fried foods, samosa, puri, pakoda. This is not a good habit. Eating too much fat is harmful for our health, and it's lead to the disease called obesity. Okay, so all of us should eat a balanced diet to remain healthy. Now about deficiency diseases. We have just learned that the essential food nutrients required for our body are carbohydrates, fat, protein, vitamins, and minerals. Now, if any one of these nutrients are in less quantity than required or missing from our diet for a long period of time, then what will happen? Then it causes a disease or disorder in our body, and that disease arises from the deficiency of that particular nutrients, means lack of that nutrients. So the disease which arises due to the lack of nutrients like carbohydrate, fats, protein, vitamins or minerals in our diet over a long period of time is called deficiency diseases. Now we will discuss the deficiency of carbohydrate, deficiency of protein, deficiency of vitamins and deficiency of minerals. First, deficiency of carbohydrate. As all of you know that it is the main chief source of energy. So the carbohydrate provides us a lot of energy to do or to perform the various tasks. Now absence of this means deficiency of carbohydrate. They shows mood changes, trembling, sweating, dizziness, headache, hunger, extra sadness. These kind of symptoms they shows. That particular person get tired after doing a little amount of work also. Lots of less of energy in their body. Okay. So the deficiency of carbohydrate they causes body weakness and loss of stamina. Now protein. Two types of deficiency it shows, or two types of disease shown by the deficiency of protein. First one is kwashiorkor, second one is marasmus. Kwashiorkor, now difference is this: when there is a deficiency of protein in the diet of small children, it causes kwashiorkor. And when there is a deficiency of protein as well as carbohydrate in the diet of small children, then it causes marasmus. Now what is the difference between these two diseases? See, with the help of picture you can easily relate it. Kwashiorkor disease occurs in children of 1 to 5 years of age. It develops when a mother stops feeding their child with breast milk due to the birth of another baby too soon. So after weaning means removing from the protein rich breast milk, the child from a poor family is given a diet consisting of mainly carbohydrate, okay, and having a low protein content. Thus a kwashiorkor is a protein deficiency disease. Now symptoms: the hair of the child changes color and becomes red. The skin of the child cracks, becomes scaly, means rough. The stomach of the child becomes swollen and bulges out, as is shown in the figure. And swelling of face and feet also take place. The child has stunt growth, means slow growth. The child has reduced resistance to the infection, means easily they get infection from their. Now the second one is about marasmus, or marasmua also is it called. So it is caused by the deficiency of protein as well as carbohydrate in the diet of very small children, means babies. And why they happen? Marasmus disease occurs in infant babies up to the first year of the age, and it develops when infant below the age of 1 year are weaned away from the breast milk and are subsequently given a less nutritive value, that which is deficient in protein as well as carbohydrate. So such food is improper for the normal growth and development of the child. These symptoms are shown by the baby that are suffered from Marasmus disease. The child become very lean and thin. The child is reduced to just skin and bones. The ribs of the child look very prominent. The child cannot even move due to lack of energy. The growth of child stops completely and the child weight become very low of for his age. Okay, so there are two types of deficiency disease. One caused by the deficiency of protein, that is kwashiorkor. The second one, marasmus, it is caused by the deficiency of protein as well as carbohydrate. Okay, now we will see vitamin deficiency diseases. Deficiency means lack of various vitamins in the human diet that give rise to the number of diseases and disorders. So some vitamin deficiency disease are night blindness, beriberi, scurvy and rickets. And we will now going to discuss about the disease by the deficiency of 4 vitamins. Actually we will discuss 5, that is vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C and vitamin D and K. Okay. So first we will see about vitamin A, deficiency of vitamin A. It weakens our vision, means our eyesight in dim light. So due to this, a person having deficiency of vitamin A cannot see properly in dim light or at night. So inability of a person to see properly in dim light, especially at night, it is called night blindness. Okay, so the deficiency of vitamin A in the diet causes night blindness. Now the severe deficiency of vitamin A over a long period of time can lead to the total blindness. Second one is about deficiency of vitamin B. There are two constituents of vitamin B, that is vitamin B1 and vitamin B12. First we will see about B1. It causes a disease called beriberi. Symptoms: muscles of the person become very weak and has a very little amount of energy to do. So the person may suffer heart failure or become paralyzed and then die. So it is necessary to contain the vitamin B1 in our diet. Now about vitamin B12, it is responsible for the formation of RBCs, okay, in hemoglobin. And deficiency of it causes the less amount of, or it causes the lack of RBCs in hemoglobin. Next is vitamin C. The deficiency of vitamin C causes a disease called scurvy. And the symptoms: bleeding from the gums, loosening of teeth, wounds do not heal easily. So we have to contain vitamin C in our diet. Next is vitamin D. This vitamin D in the diet of deficiency of vitamin D in small children causes a disease known as rickets. Rickets means the child suffering from rickets have the bow legs. Bow legs means bent legs and a pigeon-shaped chest. Actually, vitamin D helps in absorbing calcium mineral in the body, which makes the bones and teeth strong. When there is a deficiency of vitamin D, then the bones of the child remain soft and due to improper absorption of calcium from the food, these soft bones bend easily under the child's own body weight. So in addition to the weak bones, the deficiency of vitamin D leads to the poor teeth formation also. Okay. So rickets is also caused by the deficiency of calcium in our diet. This we will discuss after a while. Next one is vitamin K. That disease causes hemorrhage. And why this happens? Because of this, with deficiency of vitamin K, it's affect the clotting of blood and it causes hemorrhage. Now next is about mineral deficiency disease. The deficiency of various minerals in the human diet also gave rise to a number of disease and disorder like rickets, creatinine, goiter, anemia. As we earlier see the minerals that are essential for our growth and development, that are calcium, phosphorus, sodium, potassium, iron, iodine and fluorine. So starting with deficiency of calcium, phosphorus also. So when a child is born, its bones are soft. So for the bones to become hard, calcium compound must be supplied. If a child does not get sufficient amount of calcium, its bones remain soft and bend under its own weight, and this is called rickets. So deficiency of calcium in the diet of children, it causes rickets. Symptom same: bow legs, bent legs, pigeon type chest, poor growth of teeth in the children. Okay, so one thing you have to remember that the ricket is the children disease which is caused by the deficiency of vitamin D as well as deficiency of calcium in the diet. Okay, and deficiency of calcium in adults, it causes brittle bones and teeth which can break easily. Same phosphorus is also needed for the formation of good bones and teeth, and its deficiency causes bad bones and teeth and body weakness. Deficiency of sodium in our diet, it causes dehydration and extreme body weakness. Potassium, it makes the muscles, deficiency of potassium, it makes the muscles weakness and leads to the paralysis. Iron mineral is necessary for making hemoglobin present in red blood cells. So deficiency of iron means deficiency of hemoglobin in our blood. Now function of hemoglobin, it carries oxygen to our body. Now the deficiency of hemoglobin means lack of iron. The blood of the person is not able to carry sufficient oxygen to all the body cells to meet their requirement of the oxidation of food. So this leads to anemia. Anemia is a disease in which level of hemoglobin is less than the normal, and it also reduces the oxygen carrying capacity. Thus the deficiency of iron leads to a disease that is called anemia. Symptoms: the person looks pale, feels very weak, tired easily, loses weight, and his nails also turn to white. Fluorine is also responsible for the formation of teeth. So deficiency of fluorine, it causes dental decay. Iodine. Deficiency of iodine mineral causes two diseases. First one is cretinism, second one is goiter. Now the deficiency of iodine in diet of children, that causes cretinism. Cretinism means retarded physical growth and mental disability. Now what about adult person? In adult person, deficiency of iodine causes a disease called goiter. Goiter means abnormal enlargement of thyroid gland situated in our neck. Symptoms: that the neck of the person appears to be swollen, and it is most common in the hilly areas because the drinking water and food that grown in such areas are poor in iodine, and the goiter disease does not occur in coastal areas, seaside areas, because that eat a lot of seafood like sea fish which contain a good amount of iodine. Okay, so the most common source of iodine mineral in our home is iodized salt that used in cooking food. So that's all about this chapter. In this chapter, we had seen the different components of food that are essential for our growth, for functioning of the body. What happens when there is a deficiency of that particular nutrients in our diet? Why it is essential to take balanced diet, and how to check that which nutrient is present in the particular food items. I think is it clear for all of you? Thank you very much. Stay fit.